too. And the blue bloods were in control. The blue bloods were what? They call them the Muslims who ruled Europe. But who were they? They were from North Africa.
Right.
They were pretty much, when they say Arab, what's the Arab? If you speak Russian, the Arab is dark skin. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he wasn't pale. And the so-called Jesus, the Christ or the Messiah, he wasn't pale. I'm just giving you truth here. He wasn't pale. They only had two types of people back during the time of Jesus. They had the Romans and the other. And you weren't Roman. You're Roman today. They had the Romans and the other. And who did Jesus speak about all the time? The other. He's talking about the Romans. The Romans did this, the Romans doing that one, and the other ones he added to that one was the fake Jews. The ones that did Yahudi, they're from Judah or Hebrew, but they're not. They're from Kazakhstan.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Because they're the ones who say they didn't want to be Muslim, they didn't want to be Christian, they said they're going to be to follow Moses or Musa. Musa's Aramaic and Arabic. Go ahead.
I read like the word czar, C-Z-A-R.
Czar.
That's Arabic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a,
Because where are they getting their language from? Remember I mentioned earlier, every week I mentioned to the students that if you speak in English, you're not speaking English, you're speaking Arabic and Latin. So when I say Arabic, you include, along with the Arabic, I don't say this, but I'm going to say, when I say Arabic, I'm speaking of Arabic, Aramaic, and Hebrew.
Right.
You're using those vocabularies, the grammar. And when I say Latin, you're using the Latin, because we're speaking, we're interchanging here. This is Latin and this
that's
is...
the czar of Russia.
Yes, the Tsar. Because the real Russians, I mean, the guy Russia, he was a Moor.
Oh.
So the people that speak in Russian today, they spoke French before. Just gotta read their history.
Right.
Oh, go check out. No, I love the Romans too. The Romans have a good history. They're serious. They want to be in control. They want to keep the control, but they had a real good Roman. And his name was Napoleon. Napoleon, little short guy, but he knew what he was doing. And the Yahudis, so-called Yahudis, the Khazars got rid of him. And they should if you can find a movie about Napoleon, and I forget who played him.
Bonaparte.
Yes, if you can find that movie, observe it. Don't look at it because they're shooting cannons and stuff like that. Don't look at it. Observe that, but listen to what they're saying to one another. And his wife, Josephine, was a Moor. Today they say African, but she was a Moor. Josephine. They don't tell you that one. And see, and Napoleon was all over the planet. They don't give you every place he went to on the planet Earth, but he was all over the planet Earth with his army. He was here, in this hemisphere. He was in Louisiana. Not just Louisiana, he was in Mississippi. I mean, I'm just breaking up the so-called states, because those states didn't exist back then. It's like just territories. And the people, because there was indigenous people here, who were, as Columbus would say, or his sons would say, they looked like people from Guinea, the Guinea people, with turbans and fez. They looked like the Muslims from along the Guinea coast. He said that's in his memoirs. And matter of fact, if you can get like a Columbus movie, it's called 1492. That one, listen to some of the things he's saying there. There's a couple other ones too that's later. When he's on a ship communicating with the, not the Pope, I'm going to say Father John or someone, a Jesuit. He's communicating with one of them. You see, because we had to go back to Constantine, the so-called great. Constantine was from where? He was a what? A Roman what? Emperor. So they had, Rome was an empire, Mauritania was an empire, and who were the Romans always fighting back then? Who was Caesar? Caesar's king. So who were they fighting back then? Can any one of these student bodies give me a say? The Romans were always at war with who? Always want to go out and attack who? And who did they have in their stadiums fighting all the time? Because
the Babylonians, not the Babylonians.
You say Babylonians?
Possibly Babylonians.
Keep that.
Okay.
When I say keep that, I mean hold that. Just let me add down. That's all my friends right here. They call them Christians, Christos, not Christians. They say Christos, but where were they from? They're across the Red Sea. They were across the Red Sea and the Mediterranean. from Morocco or Mauritania, all the way past Egypt,
Chaldea.
going all the way into close to Persia.
Yes.
Because the Romans was trying to occupy that area. And who were they fighting back then? The Hebrews. They call them Hebrews. And back before there was a Christianity and what they call Africa today, they were all Hebrews. Trust my word.
The Persian.
I'm the oracle here tonight from the Matrix, but this is real. This is no movie. Yeah, am I making sense so far, everyone?
Yes. What about that guy who was something the Greek?
Alexandria the Greek. Alexandria the Greek. Alexandria, I appreciate Alexandria also, along with Napoleon, because see, Napoleon had he had respect for the other people. He fought them, but he had respect for them. But who did he battle with the most? Is the ones who was after him from his own nationality or clan. When I say clan, or that's not clan, I mean tribes, meaning people from so-called Khazars and the French. Well, he's French. I mean, like so-called London, the so-called United Kingdom. They weren't called United Kingdom then, but those people. So the ones who say that they're Jews, they're not real Jews. They're not real. They're not their faith. Trust me, and I'm not afraid to say it. They're fake. I'm not trying to insult them, but they're from Russia, Poland, and they got that. They received that particular. There was a lot of that particular territory in 1947, 48.
Yeah.
They started going there in like around the First World War.
Yeah, they named Menachem Begin
Yes.
and Sharon Perez.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
Ashkenaz.
That's another. It's still in the same subject. Like I said, I don't have enough time to really get in because that's like straight. That's like I had to be like I'm just jumping around from historic. I'm just jumping around.
Their names.
So if I stay just on if I stay on the Khazaran path, we're going to be here for several hours.
Yes.
I mean, it's like bring your sleeping bags. We're going to camp out and we're just going to talk. I mean, not talk. We're going to. I'm going to share with you information about the Khazaran people.
Didn't the Jews say that the Russians were trying to run them out of
No, I had to correct you.
Thank you.
You said the Russians. See, the Russians, they are Russian because they speak. They're not speaking Hebrew. They're speaking Yiddish.
Yiddish.
It's a German. It's German. That's what they're speaking. But they know Hebrew too. Don't get it wrong. Don't make a mistake. They know
They
Hebrew.
use a mixture.
And I appreciate them when they follow.
And Hebrew, in
Oh, sorry.
Arabic.
They went against
The new so-called Jewish or Khazarians, so they use a mixture with Yiddish from German, which is most of the vocabulary. You can understand them because if you hear those Germanic languages, you can understand some of those. And on the Hebrew, they use also the original Hebrew, but the scripture is Hebrew. But some pronunciations sound like German, Arabic, and Aramaic, which is the same as the Arabic and Hebrew.
Thank you.
That's what they use today. But
Thank you. What about that guy who used to ride the back of the elephant and conquered somewhere?
That was Hannibal.
that was Hannibal.
Hannibal. Now he's before this period. That's why I have to emphasize that. See, when people accept Islam or say they're going to be Hebrew, actually, how can you say they accepted something that you already are?
Right.
I mean, you already did. It's just that the Romans said that you're something else. And you run around like saying, I'm something else. I'm Christian. Oh, you're Jesus. Santa Claus speaking my. He said, Santa Claus is Jesus. Who are you worshiping? Who's the Santa Claus? I mean, you have to really look. They're teaching you, they're giving you a lie. You run around with the lie. I'm your child. You smack me for telling the lie, but you're telling me a lie.
Yeah.
I mean, not telling me. You're giving me a lie. And you want me to follow the lie, but you're going to whoop me for and put me on punishment, take away my porridge and my candy bars. And I can't ride my tricycle because I lied to you and said I didn't take the cookie. But you lied to me about Santa Claus and Jesus. So which one is which? Now, see, we're not looking. You're not observing because you're what? You have blinders on because you've been dumbed down by what? words
Yes,
by the media.
yes, manipulation of
So,
words.
that's right, manipulation of the words. So, and manipulating words has been going on now for a couple hundred years.
Yeah.
Because before then, the Europeans, so-called Europeans,
Mhm.
I'd use that, I'm gonna use a proper.
So-called, that's
The Roman people, the vocabulary was like a few thousand, no, I'm sorry, was like a little bit over 1,000 words. Vocabulary.
Mhm.
So their language came from who they were fighting. Who did they fight? They fought Hannibal's father.
Himlakar Barca.
Yes. Say it again. Repeat it again.
Himlakar Barca.
Yes.
Was
Himlakar
Hannibal's
Barca Bay.
Okay.
Yes.
It's say that one time.
Himlakar Barca.
Davis. Okay, please.
Yes.
I read that Hannibal, that's an Arabic word.
It's Arabic.
also.
Yes, it's Arabic.
Yes.
It's Arabic. So when they say in Phoenicians,
Glory to
when they say in Phoenicians are the ones who do the scribes. Their writings, like I'm giving you up here, like on the scene, right? They give you writing the history. So they say they're Phoenicians, but people say, oh, they're black people, so there's just a tribe of people. No, they're just people who know the scribes. They have people who didn't know the scribes and people who knew the scribes. And and like, if you watch this other movie, it's about Egypt, and it's called, he spoke about the oneness of the Creator. I'll forget his name. I have a book, 2 of them. I got it from a rare bookstore.
Akhenaten.
Akhenaten. Yeah, Akhenaten. So he is not the,
I'm like a conscious.
yeah, see, Akhenaten. So now he's related. But he did the scribes. He's a scribe. He's Phoenician. But people think that's like this a group of people that's over there talk to the way. No, anyone who did scribes is Phoenician. Am I making sense to you?
Yeah.
So we take all the professors out of this university, or you want to call us instructors, or just plain teachers, whatever, you follow me, and put us all in one room, and take us back, and throw us back in the past, and you'll say, Phoenician. You call me Phoenician. For what? Because I do what? Scribes. Yes. So the ones who did all that, like, as I mentioned earlier before, because you were late coming into the classroom here, so you have to start in Egypt, start with Rome. No, start with the Greek. Not forget Rome, because the Romans are the Greeks. And the Greeks got their information. See, the Romans got their information from the Greeks. The Greeks and the Romans were the same. First they were the Greeks, and then they broke off. They had some kind of inner fighting. And then the other one became Rome. But it's still the same people. All right, and they always had a problem with the people that's over on the other side of the Mediterranean. Meaning, I don't care if it's called Egypt. Egypt's a misnomer. They weren't called Egyptians.
Romulus and Remus, they talk about Romulus and Remus.
Romulus and Remus, yes.
Fighting one another.
Yes, that's those two.
Built the wall.
Yes, the wall. See, that's those two. And matter of fact, if you watch this other movie called The 300, good information in here. Good effects, because just give you like a glimpse. And watch some of the soldiers. Watch some of the soldiers. It's this movie. This guy was running, he jumped up in the air and he cut this guy, and I can't think of the name of it. But he's playing the Greek.
Oh, no,
He's playing the Greek.
It was made in this one.
oh my gosh,
I can't think of the name of it right now.
Titus.
Not the one who's.
Titus is a good one, though. It's another good one. But it had something to do with that period. It had something to do with the Persians.
I
They
think
call
it's
me
called
Ronnie.
100 Persians or something. I saw it on cable.
300.
It was
No, 300 is another movie.
Oh, 300.
Xerxes.
I can't think of the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what you're talking
I
about.
saw it.
But you're going to watch that one because in the movie, it's showing you they have people from the other fighting with him.
Is it Troy?
Something to do with Troy.
Mm-hmm.
Because he went to defend two brothers who did something with, one brother took a woman from
Yeah,
this,
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm. He
So-
took the woman from whatever.
yeah, like that there. And they were Greeks who had wanted to invade the other. You follow me? They wanted to invade Persia and the other. Who's the other? The Persians, the real Persians looked like me, or darker than me. The real Persians.
Person.
Yes, they were. I
Yes,
saw
the real.
it.
So everyone that's in those areas today are new people. They're good people, good and bad people. They're new because they accepted Islam. or they accepted Hebrew way of life. Am I making sense?
Where did they migrate from?
They migrated from the Romans Empire and from the Roman Empire, and they became, before the, after the Roman Empire, they had what they called the, I just said it earlier, Crusade, the first, second, and third, fourth Crusade Wars. Those people, that's who they are. That's there today. They're the ancestors, descendants from the Crusade. They're those who stayed behind. But those who didn't return to England or Rome, to stay back, they said they accepted being a Hebrew, they accepted Islam. Like the Khazars, they accepted the teachings of Moses. They said, okay, we're following Moses, but they're not the true Hebrew. The true Hebrews are dark skinned. They're darker than me. I'm just a pale guy. But
Yeah.
you put me next to a real true Hebrew, I'm not going to blend in. Am I making sense to you?
I thought with them being so deep in complexion that they came from a portion of Africa
No,
and
listen.
then came over. But no,
Because you missed the whole class.
I sure did.
You missed the whole class. So you're taking us backwards now.
Okay.
Winding the clock back, because you're saying Africa. Africa's a new name.
Yes.
So people don't speak. I said, when I say Romans, there's only two types of people on the planet Earth. It was the Romans and the people who look like so-called Jesus.
Okay.
That's like that. So you want to call Jesus an African for right now? I'll settle for that one. Coming from you. But from the rest of the class, I would say no, because they know where I'm coming from. So it was only two types. There's the Romans and the other. And the other two, there was always fighting. When I say the other, they're called Hebrews.
The true Hebrews are.
True, the real Hebrews, because Isa, alayhi salam, or what you call Jesus, fought. He spoke against the Romans. It's in the Bible. I keep a Bible with me. I keep the Quran with me. It's in the Quran. It's in the Bible. You follow me so far? So you're gonna find you don't have to go to church. Matter of fact, you don't have to. Don't even, the church means circles. So don't even waste your time going there. I'm not saying that the church is bad. I'm just I'm communicating, saying that just open up the Bible, start from the beginning, start from Genesis, and just start reading the DNA. When I say DNA, I'm speaking about genealogy.
Yes.
You start following it. Following who begot who begot who begot who begot who was fighting who was fighting who begot who was fighting who begot who was fighting who. Follow that. And you're going to say, oh, the Romans. The Ethiopians, the Libyans,
Somalians.
Somalian and Ethiopians are the same people. They're the same. This one's called Samal from a guy who was a king, a leader of them, Samal. That's it. So let me say this here. It was the Greeks and the so-called other people. And Isa, or Jesus, wasn't there then. It was the Greeks and the other people. And then later on, the Greeks broke up. They divided. And then the one who they left off became Rome. But Greeks still existed. But they still beat each other up. They had the First World War, the Second World War, and they had a Civil War. As a matter of fact, this is my point that I was trying to arrive to close this out. Because we have like about a half an hour, or less than half an hour. So I was trying to derive and say, like, there's two types of Roman people on the planet Earth, and they always been at war with each other. And they always, one came from the south, one came from the north. So the Greek Empire is divided. So the Greek Empire was divided into two. One stayed Greek, and the other one became Roman. You know, I guess this to you? One's from the north, and one's from the south. And Greece. And it spread over. Because Greece was pretty large. Not the little place that you see today. You say, oh, look, Greece, it's small. Wow. No. At one time, they were quite large. And if you watch all the Hercules movies, with the old ones, with Steve Reeves and stuff like that, and you get all that mythology, so-called mythology, and observe what's going on in the movies, who they're communicating about, the so-called gods,
Yes.
and where Zeus and all those characters, where are they getting their information from? They're getting the information from the people that they're not showing you. But if you watch this other movie that I was speaking about, the guy had the javelin, and he ran up, and he had a sword, and he just went up and stabbed the guy in his neck, killed him. And I can't think of his name, but it had something, they was fighting against, there was the Greeks fighting something to do with the Persians. And he had Muslims with him. No, I'm sorry, I don't want to use the word Muslim. He had the people from the other side of the sea as his they would fight with them. They wore all black and turbans and like that. He was on a ship with them, but they made him their leader. But he wasn't leading them. He just fought with them. And one guy said to himself, "Who are you fighting for? Who are you fighting?" He said, "I'm not fighting for you. I'm not fighting for anyone. No one." I just can't think of the name of the movie.
It's Troy, I'm telling you.
The Troy. I know it has something to do with Troy. Where's Troy?
No, the movie.
The movie's called Troy. Yes. That's
So you're talking about Achilles? Or?
Achilles.
Achilles talking about
Achilles.
That's his name.
Yeah, Achilles. Yes.
Troy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Very good.
Achilles.
Now that movie will give you give you good information. I mean, I mentioned some other ones, but you weren't here. But they come out on the DVD. All right, and because I mentioned before, I have a few little books that I've written in the past.
You're talking about Agamemnon's wars, the conquerors. Is the Greek
Empire.
The Greek Empire, the first Greek Empire was called by Agamemnon.
Yes, the Greek Empire. So if you watch all the Hercules movies, all of them. I mean, the Steve Reeves, and before Steve Reeves, even Tarzan. You watch Tarzan, you're going to get some good information. Listen to what the Europeans, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I didn't mean to call them European. I meant to call them Romans. Listen to what the Romans are saying. Listen to what they say to each other. Because this is one's from the south and one's from the north. When I say north, I'm splitting Greek Empire in half. The north and the south, they were fighting each other. And Achilles, before it was one of the movies where they was fighting to bring the Greek Empire together. And I'm gonna tell you, and they made a movie out of it. And I forget his name, but he's not alive today. He has children that became actors too. Burt Lancaster. He played some kind of Greek. It's like the Seven, but he played
Ben-Hur.
No. Ben-Hur is by somebody else. No. He played